Alright, guys, welcome to Flav Oriana's MMA show. I'm your host, Flav Oriana, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. Guys, UFC 294 is officially in the books. God, I love early morning MMA, alright? As someone that lives in the East Coast, man, it was nice to be able to wake up, have MMA at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and for it to finish a little bit before like 4:30. It was phenomenal. The main card went quick. Prelims I really enjoyed a lot. We got to see the debut of Shar Bullet Nurmagomedov. He was the prelim opener. He fought Bruno Silva to a decision. We saw Victoria Dudakova. I believe that was her UFC debut. She ended up beating Jinyu Fry to a decision. We ended up seeing Andrew Jubilee versus Mike Breeden, in which Jubilee is, I believe, the one of the first Indian MMA fighters. India is one of those markets that the UFC is trying to tap into. Unfortunately, it didn't really go into his favor because he was winning the first two rounds until Mike Breeden ended up psyching him out, similar to how Nate Diaz does to some of his opponents in the octagon, was psyching him out in round 3, which allowed Mike Breeden to have an opening into winning the fight by knockout. We had Nathaniel Wood versus I think it was Muhammad Naimov, right? Lot of fouls. This card in general, especially the prelims, had a lot of fouls. The fact that there was not that many point deductions was pretty eye opening. We saw Victor Henry get kicked. It's debatable because on the replay you see Javid Basharat ends up kicking him. It looks like on the inner thigh. But Victor Henry swears that he got kicked in the testicles, and the way that he dropped it, it just makes it feel like, you know what, he is not faking this at all. But Victor Henry apparently, the fight had to get stopped. It was a no contest. Victor Henry apparently was I think said he was bleeding and vomiting, because of the way that how hard Javid Basharat ended up hitting him in that area. And it was just I felt uncomfortable. It was crazy to see the doctor tell him, to just suck it up and just, you didn't get hit. At one point, I believe they were going to give this guy, Javid Basharat, a knockout, a TKO knockout for Victor Henry not being able to continue. But overall, the prelims was just crazy. Going into the main card, I'll start off for the main event all the way down to Saeed Nurmagomedov fight, but overall prelims was just wild. I love this sport. You started at 10 a.m. if this card would have started honestly at 7 p.m., I would have a little bit of issues with the way that the card was moving, but overall, this is why I love early morning MMA. Get that shit over with. All right. Starting off with the main event. All right. Main event was supposed to have originally Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. Fortunately, Oliveira gets hurt during sparring. Has a large laceration above the eyebrow. Is unable to fight, and the UFC calls, and in comes Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski answers the phone call. Immediately says yes because he wants to redeem that loss that he had in February. I myself, had it three rounds to 2 Alexander Volkanovski. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's people that were more definitive that Islam won, but you cannot tell me that Alexander Volkanovski did not deserve to win, especially by landing the knockdown. What's it called? Applying more damage than anybody has ever applied on Islam Makhachev, and then putting Islam into situations where it looked like he wanted to just be out of there, all right? And especially that 5th round was as definitive as it gets. But anyways, Volkanovski answers the phone call. was willing to make weight in 12 days notice, and here we have the main event. Going into round one, I'm thinking, all right, I have a hedge, and this is something that I've been trying to do as of late. I hedge on fights that I'm uncertain about, which is normal, I had a parlay of Islam, Hamza, and a whole bunch of other Russian fighters. And then I also had a parlay of Usman and Volkanovski because they took the fight on 12 days notice or less. So Volkanovski, comes out. He defends one of the takedowns. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. We're just repeating what happened in Perth back in February, right? Defends one of the takedowns. I'm thinking, all right, Volkanovski really would need a finish just because, similar to what, Jorge Masvidal had to deal with when he fought Usman the first time, and I think he did it on a 6 days notice. You cut so much weight, and, you may not have you may have the cardio to go all 25 minutes, but you definitely do not have, all the energy that you would have in a normal camp if you're fighting somebody of Islam, right? Islam is maybe one, I would say, top 5 best fighters right now currently on the UFC roster. And I really, really, really do feel that Volkanovski just came into this fight thinking, all right, you know what? Let me get out of here. Let me try to, defend all these takedowns and try to, pick him apart from the outside. Well, unfortunately, Volkanovski, I think he was only able to land 3 significant strikes, or 4, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to, put this on the top of my head. And Islam, has Volkanovski, with his back foot hitting the cage, right? The fencing of the cage, just timing it, attacking the stomach, just he's setting everything up, right? And in real time, you're not really seeing this until I had to rewatch it maybe about for a second or third time, which was beautiful what he ended up doing. He has Volkanovski on the back foot, and then next thing you know, bam, hits him with the left, the left high kick. All right, similar to what he ended up doing in the first fight, drops Volkanovski. Volkanovski, hits the canvas, and Islam just starts going away, left and right, and then Mark Goddard has to step in. Fight's over. Fight finishes within, I think, like a 3-minute span, and there you go. That's the rivalry. It's over. Volkanovski's never getting another chance against Islam. Now he has 2 losses on the record against Islam, and it's very unfortunate. I really didn't want him to, face Islam, because I agree. There's an MMA analyst, a journalist. I'm sorry, his name is Jed Meshew. Works at MMAfighting.com, and I agree with him. This fight, in my opinion, should have been maybe the main event for UFC 300. And the reason why I say that is because we would have a better understanding on how, both fighters would be. The fact that Volkanovski took this fight on 12 days notice really depletes this matchup. Volkanovski's cutting a lot of weight. I believe he ended up cutting maybe 25 to 30 pounds within a 12-day span. You're already depleting your body right there. He says that he was training, right? But how much really was he training? Was he doing like just a regular, hitting the pads and stuff like that? That type of stuff, to me, you're not really in a full fight camp, right? Now you're jumping yourself into a full fight camp because of the fact that, there's an opening and you feel like maybe I could take advantage of this situation. Well, clearly, Islam Makhachev is not that type of person that you want to, jump into a fight with on 12 days notice, because, this guy's an animal. This guy's a beast. This guy, is a really, really good, lightweight, right? And unfortunately, Volkanovski has to try to finish Islam early. And I think Islam was able to identify that, and he just, said, here, I will do you better, and I'll finish you before you even try to get started. And that's what happened. Now Islam now has 2 title defenses. I know what the monologue is going to be. All right, it's going to be Islam has defended the belt twice against a featherweight, which is very true. I do feel that Islam is going to have to fight a lightweight. He cannot he cannot be a person that avoids fighting a lightweight and trying to defend the belt and going up to welterweight. There's been that topic about Islam going up to welterweight and fighting the winner of Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Now I am okay with that as long as he is gonna give up the title, but I don't think he's gonna do that. I think he just wants a double champ status to get out of the shadow of, his protege, his best friend, Khabib Nurmagomedov. What I really do believe is Islam should be fighting Justin Gaethje. And the reason why I say he should be fighting Justin Gaethje is because Dana did say that Justin, is going to, the winner of Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje would be, getting the next title shot. And I really want to have Dana White, be held accountable for what he does say. Even though Charles Oliveira, had the title shot and he got hurt, push him to the, as the next person. You know why? Because you can't be holding up the division. I really want to see a fresh matchup. I don't want to be seeing a rematch after rematch after rematch. I mean, you're holding up the division like that. Please keep this division going. The division has been a mess. All right, ever since Conor McGregor has won the lightweight title back in 2016 against Eddie Alvarez, and him not defending the belt, holding the division hostage up until he had to relinquish the belt. Khabib has to win the title against Al Iaquinta, and then him fighting 3 times, right? Conor, Dustin, Justin retires. The belt is in a hiatus, right? And we already know how everything transpired. So that's what I would want. But overall, let's see what happens. And then as for Volkanovski, Volkanovski really, I don't want to see him fight in January. Him getting knocked out in the way that he did was pretty scary. But also, it's not something that you want to see because he's going to fight Ilia Topuria next. And if I'm Ilia Topuria, I'm salivating at the fact that Volkanovski looks like he is, on the back nine of his prime. And the fact that he got knocked out like that, maybe Ilya can impose, a worse beating, right? And take advantage of the fact that he just got knocked out and he wants to fight, in a 3-month span. That would mean that Volkanovski would need to, go back home to Australia, get immediately back into a fight camp, and keep himself going, all right? Don't want to see that happen. Push that fight to March, let him heal a little bit. All right, co-main event time. Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. Now, similar to what happened to Volkanovski, Usman steps in, I believe, on 10 days' notice. And he, originally, I think he was the 4th option. It was Sean Strickland, to fight Khamzat after Costa ended up pulling out. Strickland had said yes at one point privately, but then after that, his team talked him out of it. So that didn't happen. We were going to have at one point the middleweight title, Strickland versus Khamzat. I think, and then it was Vettori, Cannonier, and then it was Usman. Now Usman coming in, making his middleweight debut. He's also coming off of a 2-fight losing streak, losing 2 fights consecutively to Leon Edwards. But now this is a new weight class, and this is actually a fight that I've been wanting to see for quite some time. And man, guys, Khamzat is just a real deal. He's a real deal, but he has a lot of holes in his game. And the reason why I say that is because he started that fight really, really quick and, explosive, right? And when you're quick and explosive and you start off that fiery, you're burning a lot of energy. And what he was trying to do, he was trying to get Kamaru Usman out of there. And nobody has manhandled Kamaru Usman the way that Khamzat Chimaev has. All right, taking him down, twice. Holding, I think it was one time in the first round, holding him down, not allowing him to get up. He was really making sure that Usman feel Khamzat's presence and body weight, and then just grounding and pounding him, almost flatlining him, almost choking him out. Kamaru Usman had to DDT himself just so Chimaev wasn't able to secure that RNC. It was a crazy first round, crazy high pace, and Usman was getting tired. But you know what? You know who also got tired? Hamza Chimaev did. He burned a lot of energy thinking that he was able to try to get Usman out of there. But then Usman was able to persevere after that 10-8 round that he was on the wrong side of. And here comes Usman, trying to pick apart Chimaev with the jab and wins round 2. Pick apart Chimaev with the jab, wins round 3. I actually had it 28-28, right? Because Chimaev looked gassed out. He wasn't really doing much, and he was, getting a little bit exposed, in my opinion, all right? But I can understand a 29, a 29-27 scorecard. What I will not understand is somebody saying that Usman deserved the fight. Usman originally had said in an interview that he wished that he had 5 rounds. He had that as an offer. He declined it because he was worried about if he was going to be able to gas himself out. Well, clearly he wasn't the one that was going to gas himself out. The person that gassed himself out was Hamza Chimaev. And I believe if this was a 5-round fight, we would be having a different winner. What's next for Hamza? Well, Hamza, might be getting the title shot. As for Kamaru Usman, who the hell knows? He might go back down to welterweight. But if he sticks around at middleweight, the only person I want to see him fight is Robert Whittaker. That's the only fight that makes sense. Third fight, the featured prelim, the featured fight, Johnny Walker, Makhachev, Ankalaev. Crazy shit happened. You got Makhachev and Ankalaev pretty much Peter yawned Johnny Walker, hitting him with a knee in the head. Doctor was asking Walker what happened, where country he's in, wasn't able to give a response, said that he's in the desert. That wasn't good enough for the doctor. Doctor calls the fight off. Johnny Walker looked fine, in my opinion. He just was more focused on, what's going on with Ankalaev. Ref calls the fight off by doctor's orders. But Johnny Walker pushes the ref, tries to fight with Ankalaev, and all mayhem goes in there. The anyway has to go there to restore order. Tells Walker that the doctor messed up. We will try to fix it. And, we'll see what happens. Just watch it if you get the chance. And then Ikram Aliskerov knocks out Warley Alves on a double clutch flying knee. Ikram is a real deal. Nobody's gonna want to fight that guy at middleweight. And then Saeed Nurmagomedov ends up getting a 30-second guillotine. And that's how the main card goes. But guys, look, really love the fact that it was early morning MMA. Next week there is no MMA, but next time I'll be talking about the UFC is either the announcement that happens on Monday, according to Dana White, that he has some announcements to make, or just wait until the San Paulo card is over. Until then, guys, I am Flavio Orellana, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.